series that I'm in the middle of. I wanted to make a video for this because I just want to like push myself to continue reading the series that I'm in the middle of, because more often than not I start series and it's hard. I don't know why, but I just like, it's hard for me to continue the series and finishing them because I just get distracted by other series or like standalone books that come out. So this video is basically to motivate myself and continuing reading the series that I already started, not really start new ones for right now. So right now I'm in the middle of the Kings of Sin series by Ana Huang. I'm in the second book, which is King of Pride. I'm reading it on my Kindle and I'm almost done with it. I also have to switch the stickers on the back of my Kindle because they're from like October. I'm gonna do that at some point. But like I said, I'm reading King of Pride. I'm literally like 80-something% into it and I have really enjoyed it. I'm excited to finish that one. And then the one that I'm really excited for is King of Greed, which is the third book. So honestly, after I finish King of Pride, I'm most likely going to pick up King of Greed. I will start with King of Pride on my Kindle. I have like 10-15 minutes left before I have to pick up my daughter from daycare, so I'm gonna use that time to get some reading in, hopefully finish it by tonight, so that way between tonight and tomorrow I can start hopefully King of Greed or the Magnolia Parks. So as you saw in the previous clips, I finished King of Pride last night and I actually started King of Greed. Honestly, I only read like the first chapter because it was only like 2 pages and then half of the second chapter. I'll give like my full thoughts and wrap up and star ratings at the end of the video, so stick around for that. But just kind of like some quick thoughts on King of Pride. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I don't know what that sound is in the background, so bear with me. Anyways, as I was saying, I finished King of Pride. I loved it more than I initially thought I would because the beginning for me was a little bit slow and there wasn't really anything like really happening. But as soon as I finished that last kind of like sentence and a word that just finished the book, I started missing them and like I don't know, I really enjoyed the characters and like the whole story. And then I also updated the back of my Kindle like I said I would. I love it. Here's a little bit of a quick zoom of it. I really wanted to have little Dragon and Darna, like Taryn and Darna from Fourth Wing and Iron Flame and just the whole series by Rebecca Yarros, because Onyx Storm is coming out this month. I'm so excited to read it. By the time I'm uploading this video, it's going to be February, but the moment I'm filming this, it's January, so I'm super excited. I'll actually have a vlog up. I think it should be up by now, to be honest. And then, like I said, I started King of Greed by Ana Huang, and this is the one I've been looking forward to the most. It's basically a second chance romance. The two characters are together and they're married. They've been married for about 10 years. The male main character, Dominic, is very into his work and he loves money and wants to make money, and anything that doesn't have to do with money or to bring him money, he's just like, yeah, that doesn't really matter. He doesn't really care. And then his wife, Alessandra, she's kind of just like fed up with the whole thing and she decides to like take charge of her own life and basically leave him. But what she didn't count on was Dominic really like fighting for their marriage and not wanting to let her go. Yeah, I'm really excited to kind of see how that story unfolds and everything. My husband is actually making dinner right now, so I might get a few minutes of reading in and then I'll probably continue reading into the night. continued reading King of Greed by Ana Huang. I've been reading it on my Kindle, and last night I was able to get to about chapter 14. So like I was able to read about 100 pages. And then this morning I am currently on chapter 19, which is about 43%, so almost halfway through. So my physical book is like almost this of the way through. I don't know where I'm at fully with my thoughts. I know that so far I'm really enjoying the romance part of it all, of like in the sense of like the words that they say. I've noticed myself highlighting a lot of like quotes and stuff, which is not something that I normally do unless like a book like speaks to me or I relate to it. Yeah, I feel like that has a lot to say of how much I'm really enjoying it. I think what's getting me is that there's certain things that I can relate to personally, so I'm excited to see how it all kind of like continues to go. I'm not a big fan of like second chance romances for some reason. I don't know, I feel like sometimes it's just kind of like boring for me if like these people had a relationship before and then now they're like trying to rekindle the romance. It's not something that I gravitate towards to. There's also like something else that's going on like plot wise that I'm eager to get to the bottom of, because I think that's gonna bring a little bit of like spice to it, a little bit of more flavor to the whole story. All in all, so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm gonna continue reading. My toddler is asleep, my husband is taking a nap, so I think I'm just gonna enjoy the quietness that I have right now and continue reading. Finished it. I'm still trying to figure out what my thoughts are for this book. I don't even know the star rating yet. I literally finished it this morning. All that I know is that I really enjoyed it. There are some things that I'm still kind of like thinking about. I really did highlight a lot on my Kindle, so I'm probably gonna go and just pass those highlights to the actual physical book. I will say I think so far this is my favorite in the series. It just really took me by surprise because I wasn't really expecting to enjoy this one as much. I just really enjoyed the whole romance and the whole falling in love again with like your spouse. I think it's because I'm like married and I can connect to those things. In terms of like what I'm going to pick up next, I think I'm gonna continue reading the Kings of Sin series and I'm gonna move on with King of Sloth. Might as well just continue reading the series. I think the new book comes out this year. It's King of Envy, so why not? On this one, we're following Sloane and Xavier. They've kind of been sprinkled in the second and the third book. Sloane is a publicist, and Xavier is basically this billionaire playboy type guy, and it gets under Sloane's skin. So I think it's gonna be fun. So we'll see. So it's been a couple of days since I've last updated this vlog. I just needed like a day or two of like not reading or like reading like the bare minimum so I could just take a break from all the binge reading that I've been doing with the Kings of Sin series by Ana Huang. As you know, I am reading King of Sloth and right now I'm on chapter 25, which is about page 210. I am enjoying it so far. I've continued reading it on my Kindle. Honestly, I would say if you really like super slow burn, I think you will like this one because like I said, I'm like 50% of the way through and the bare minimum has happened, which is fine. I'm not saying anything bad about it. It just has been slower than the other books a little bit. I'm really loving the characters. Xavier is just like, he pays such attention to detail. Like whenever you think that he's not listening, it's like, you know, when you're like talking to someone and you feel like that person is just not listening to you, so you're like, oh yeah, what did I say? Basically, that's what happens with Xavier sometimes. Like, Sloane is just, like, talking, and he's just, like, going off in his own train of thought. So she thinks he's, like, not listening to her. And she's like, what did I say? And then he literally says word for word every single thing that she said. Like, I love that. Yeah, I'm gonna continue reading. I am loving this book so much. I think it might be the first, like, 5 stars I am loving this book so much. I think it might be the first like 5-star within this series. I'm just loving everything about it. I'm obsessed. I haven't stopped reading. I've been reading all morning. So far I've made it to chapter 35, which is about almost 80% of the way through, so about this much. So I'll definitely be finishing this one today, and yeah, I can't wait to like give you my final thoughts and ratings and all that. I'm really loving this one. I loved this one. Like, I thought King of Greed was my favorite so far, but this one literally topped it for me. Like, I love Xavier and Sloane. I'm so happy that I continued reading it because I was starting to feel a little bit burnt out reading kind of like the same author, kind of like the same series back to back. But I love this one so much. I'm still thinking about my thoughts in terms of like just in general of the story, but I do know my rating already. Like, before I even got to the epilogue, I think I was like maybe 2 or 3 chapters before it was like ending, and I already knew the rating was going to be 5 stars. So, and I think this is gonna be my first 5-star of the series. So yeah, so far this is definitely my favorite. I'll think about my thoughts overall a little bit more, and then I'll come back and kind of like wrap everything up and talk about all the books that I read, the rating. I'll see you there in 3, 2, 1. It's been a couple of days, but I finally finished King of Sloth, so let's do a quick recap and just final thoughts of all the books. Starting with King of Pride, I ended up giving this one 4 stars. In the beginning, I didn't think I was gonna like it at all, and I actually thought I was gonna DNF this one, but as I continued reading, I started kind of just realizing that I was connecting with these characters. Ana Huang just has that special like something that makes me want to become friends with these characters and all her characters. Like, whenever I finish reading her books, I just immediately just want to become part of the friend group. Like, I need them in my life. In terms of conflict, I was a little bit disconnected at the end because we did have that final third act breakup with less than 100 pages left, and they just had to have like one last final dramatic showdown, I guess. I usually honestly don't mind it if it makes sense to like with the story and kind of like what's happening. In this one, I feel like it didn't really need it. Like, by that point we knew the connections the characters had and like the love they have for each other, so that breakup was kind of like, let me just throw something in there so it makes like one dramatic final thing for them to like overcome, and then the big final ending. So that's just kind of like how it felt. It wasn't necessary, and the characters had pretty good communication throughout the story and throughout the book. I just didn't feel like they needed that breakup. If honestly they would just sat down and talked about it, everything would have been resolved, to be honest with you. And that's just my opinion. Overall, it was a great read. Like I said, a 4 star. Then we have King of Greed by Ana Huang. I ended up giving this one a 4 star as well. And in terms of the series, this is the one I was really looking forward to the most of reading. I loved the romantic emotions going on and just like the deeper theme of like the second chance romance, where it's not like we're boyfriend and girlfriend at one point, we broke up, and now we're like finding each other again or trying it out again. It's like a married couple, like a very serious situation that they just felt disconnected with one another and they weren't seeing like eye to eye. They've been together for like 10 years, so they've been through a lot, and they have such a deep connection and love and all that. So seeing kind of like that second chance done in this way, I loved it. I'm not really a second chance person. Like, they just don't speak to me, but this one definitely did, and I think it's because they're a married couple. I'm married as well, so I was able to connect with them at a different level. I've also never highlighted as much as I did when I read this one. The fact that I highlighted so much on this one really says a lot, again, because I'm not really a highlight person or annotated person. Well, I'm even thinking that maybe it's a 4.5 more than a 4 star, but I feel like compared to King of Pride, I didn't like it more than King of Pride, but I don't know. I'm confused now. I'm confused. For now, let's just move on to the final book, King of Sloth, and I ended up giving this one 5 stars. This is my first 5-star of this series. I am obsessed with this one. I'm obsessed with the characters. I loved every single thing about this one. Xavier and Sloane are just 2 peas in a pod for me. Like, in my opinion, they just get each other without having to verbally communicate. Like, you could just tell even by just reading the words, like the way they will look at one another and would just get it or like understand each other. Just the chemistry that they have, Ugh, I just loved it. Even though at first it did very much feel like super slow burn, like I was like nothing truly was happening in the sense of like plot wise, but we were just getting introduced to the characters, kind of like what each of them were to one another. So we honestly felt somewhat slow on that end, but in the sense of like when you get to the final page and like you kind of see it all together, it honestly makes sense and I wouldn't even change it. Something that I just loved so much about Savior, he called her darling. I don't think I've heard that like term of endearment towards another person in terms of like books. I loved that he just used darling. I don't know, something that small and simple, and I found myself just kind of like swooning over it. Honestly, I could go on and on about this one. I could be here all day talking about it and dissecting every single thing about it because I just loved it. 5-star, and I think it's also the first 5-star of the year for me, which is pretty freaking exciting because I feel like the first 5-star of the year, it's always the most like special one. If I haven't said it 1,000 times, I love this one, I'm obsessed, and you should pick it up. Anyways, our reading time together has come to an end for this video. Thank you for sticking around, and if you made it this far, leave me a comment with the blue heart emoji. Need I say more? Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more videos, and as always, I hope you'll have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.